Are we on?
Yes, hey Olli.
Hi, Michi. So,
Hello world.
uh,
Hello YouTube world.
our thirst talk.
Yes, thirst talk. That's good. We
Our
are
thirst talk.
on. So I will share this to everybody
Are
who
we on?
wants to listen to
Yes.
it.
And that's our signature sound, that echo.
Exactly. Because I can't stop it
Yeah,
fast enough.
sure.
I can't stop it fast enough. So I will just share this on Facebook so everybody can join us who wants to.
Sure. Hmm.
And Olli, how's everything? I think you were live yesterday in the Unterfahrt, right?
Oh, yes, I was. And it's really nice. The streaming equipment that they have. Um, they're filming you really, actually, with 10 cameras. 10. Four of them motor cameras,
You
fully
can move them around, right? Yeah, that's
fully
great.
operable from a mixing desk. So I mean, what's not to like? And the sound was great. I mean, you know Robert, Robert,
Yeah, yeah,
Robert.
Robert was there, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a
great engineer.
great
Yeah.
sound guy, really.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, we had fun. Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, it's the best thing basically we can do right now. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
not much left to
Well, it
do.
felt a bit like in the old times.
Mm.
I I quite I can't quite remember right now how we spelled gig. Was it with G or what? It's gone. But at least it was a real stage and it was a nice piano
Mm.
and real interplay between real people. Yeah. And even some people in the room clapping for 100. No, it was really nice to go out and play again.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's
I
it's
mean, if you've done that all your life, it's just it's so sad if that's gone.
absolutely. I
There's
mean,
no way to
that's
deny it. I mean,
but it
I'm really missing it. And
absolutely.
tell you what, I even had a little bit of pre-gig jitters. I
Yes.
didn't experience that in years because if you keep playing all the time, that feeling's gone. But yesterday,
Mm.
I've wondered about myself.
Yes. It's just yeah, and I think it feels like a real gig if you play a live stream. It's
Mm.
like you can feel that somebody's there, somebody's watching, and it's a good energy. I think.
Well, you can't really feel that somebody's there because I'm used to, as much as I may be in my world when I'm playing, I'm used to peek out
Mm,
every few seconds or so, and I'm sure I watch the faces, and even if I'm just looking at my instrument and concentrating, I can really feel the vibrations in the room, and if that's gone, you play into the void, right?
mm,
It's odd. I really had to get accustomed to that. But since I'm doing a monthly live stream, it's gotten better and better.
mm,
Right out of my living room,
mm.
the come to my house thing, that
Sure.
really gives me some routine in that
Mm,
vein. But still, I'm really missing proper live gigs with real audiences reacting. And even if they're booing, okay, do what you like, people. That's what I'm here for.
totally. Yeah. Of course, it's a totally different thing, and that's how it's meant to be. Like this is the plan, basically.
With those cameras, you actually you can't even tell if the upstream's working. You
Mm,
might be playing and it's not even working.
yeah.
Nobody can see it, maybe. So yeah, it's a kind of strange feeling.
It totally is. Yeah. But I still I feel it's. Uh, I mean, I think I did like three streams of in last couple of weeks, and it
Hmm.
was a good energy on stage. Like everybody was
Hmm.
like focused and you play. It's not like a rehearsal where
Hmm.
it's like okay, yeah, I play and yeah, I try something out. It's more you're focused. So to deliver something that somebody else is gonna listen to.
Sure. I mean,
So it's
yesterday
a
was.
different thing, but of course, like it's an empty room. Like if you're in the Unterfahrt and it's like you go 10 minutes before you go to the bathroom, it's like nobody's there. That it's so strange that
Mhm.
usually you have to go out and like find a way out and go. It's pretty strange.
Yeah,
We
right.
have a guest. Bimi is there. Nice. We
Okay.
have a viewer. It's amazing.
More to
Yes,
come, I hope.
our trusty viewer.
Hmm.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah.
there's one more person there. It's amazing.
Ah,
So just say
okay,
hello
guys,
if you
join
want.
us. You have
Just say hello,
questions?
and
Questions?
yeah, we're open for anything. Just let us know. Yeah. So we just at some point we decided to make our like our conversation, which we sometimes have about our music, we just make it public, so everybody else can can maybe get something out of it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but the live stream thing, of course, is it's gonna
Yeah, I mean,
stay
yesterday,
like this for a little while, but then I hope we go back. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a hybrid thing. I talked to Michael Stückel from the Unterfahrt
Mm.
yesterday, and he told me that they're really into streaming in the future as well. When audience can come in again, they're gonna stream the concert as well, but selling tickets for it.
Yeah. I
They
mean
do
that's
it on
cool.
their
It's
own
like
website and sell tickets for that, so they can increase their spread.
sure. I mean a couple of clubs already did that before.
Mm,
I
I know.
think Moods in Zurich they did that, or
Yeah, they did.
Smalls in New York.
Yeah.
They also had it's just great, you know. You can see stuff from your living room where you used to have to travel to New York City or something to and yeah, which
The
is
problem with it is, I've checked that out because I wanted to do that too. The problem is actually that it's quite expensive to set that up.
mm,
If you want to set up a website with a kind of TV screen inside and sell tickets, do a proper ticketing and all that, um, it's not easy to do. It's quite
of
expensive.
course, yeah. It's
But
like yeah, like I mean, with Supergain, we also have our like a online business. Yeah, we have a site where you can buy online courses and stuff, like guitar online courses, and it's I do the programming, and it's quite a job. Yeah, it's work in progress since 2 years. So, but
so,
it's
Vicky,
working. Yeah.
Vicky, how's the jazz guitar? How's
Oh,
your?
the jazz guitar is just awesome. Yeah. The jazz guitar is really a dream come true for a lot of years. I dreamt of have somebody build my own jazz guitar,
Yeah.
like a real acoustic one. Like you can't play it in a loud band setting. It's really acoustic, so it's gonna feedback really early, but it's if you play it, it makes a huge sound, and that's what I wanted. Like I have enough electric guitars,
Mhm.
so I really wanted an acoustic jazz guitar. It's gonna have a pickup, but it's
The pickup is what, a piezo or what?
no, the pickup is a regular humbucker,
Hamburger.
like a floating humbucker, which is mounted onto the fretboard, and
Hmm.
it's not touching the top of the guitar. So the top is completely intact, so no holes in the top. Just it's vibrating completely, and yeah, it's something I was looking forward for many years
And you have to
because
sell your house for it or what?
actually not. Yeah, but I'm saving for it for a long time already. Yeah, and it's actually not that expensive. Like if you look into buying a Gibson Super 400 or L5, it's way more expensive,
Hmm.
and it's acoustically not working really. Yeah, they are all basically electric guitars. They have thick tops, and they are pretty quiet if you play them acoustically.
Hmm.
They are not meant to be played acoustically. You have to buy a Gibson from the 40s or something,
Hmm.
where it's basically that it didn't have a pickup. So those guitar that's the kind of guitar I have Stefan built. Yeah, it's like a really 30s or 40s Gibson style L5 guitar, which yeah, you can buy them, but if Gibson is on it, and it's double the price at least, and it's not as good.
So I'm
So
really looking forward to hear you do that.
yes,
Play that thing.
you can play some jazz. Yeah.
Okay. think I'll have to write a jazz number, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I have to hide in a corner then, because it's if Arno
No,
and
no,
Patrick are
no.
gonna play, it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna feedback probably. But if you can handle it somehow, like if you have the right position, like if not your amp is like blowing in it right away, like you have to sit so the amp is like blowing towards the neck.
Hmm.
You kind of have to hide the body, and then
Yeah.
it works.
Of course. Hmm.
Yeah.
Do it with your own body, so it won't pick up too
Yeah,
much.
I'm big enough so I can cover it. So
Okay, so it's perfect for a loud band.
oh, it's awesome. Yeah,
Right.
it's a rock and roll instrument.
Speaking of which, did you ever see a live show of Marcus Miller?
Oh yes, I went. The first that comes to mind was in the Bayerischer Hof.
Hmm.
I was there. It was the early to mid '90s.
Hmm.
I think it was a Tales tour. I remember the album Tales. Yeah, is it Tales, right? And that was just a great show. And once I saw him also, Hiram Bullock was there. That was
with
early,
Hiram
I think. I don't remember.
I think I've seen Marcus Miller with Hiram Bullock too.
Yeah. Oh, what a team.
Yeah, they fit together so well because they had their years with David Sanborn, so yeah, they've been pals forever, I guess.
Yes, I mean they were in the what was it called, the night music, the TV show with David Sanborn, right?
Right, Saturday Night Live.
I think at some point David Sanborn had his own show. I think it was
Yeah,
called
probably.
Night Music.
Right.
He had his own show with guests, and it was right now unbelievable that a jazz saxophone player has a TV show where he invites guests, and he has a killer band behind him, and
Yeah, he's one of the best known saxophone players in the world, I guess.
yeah, he has a great YouTube channel actually, Sanborn Sessions or something, where he's recording stuff in his own rehearsal studio, and he invites people. It's great. Yeah, Marcus Miller is such a
Yeah, I think
influential guy.
for some reason he even outflanked David Sanborn as far as that's possible because of his collaboration with Miles Davis and his I mean his roster as a session player. The guy played with about everybody. From Luther Vandross to Jean-Michel Jarre. Who can say that?
And
Anyway, here's my album pick. Do you know that one?
oh yes,
Yeah.
Panther, right? I think Panther is on this,
Panther is on this.
and then he plays some. Isn't there a Hendrix tune on it? What was that?
There's, of course, Teen Town on it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Fantastic version of Teen Town, mixed by Bill Schnee, one of my all-time favorites in the mixing business.
Oh
And
yeah.
my
Uh-huh.
special favorite of this is, of course, Juju.
Ah,
Yeah. Because it's such a great example of a fusion goes pop tune.
exactly.
And
I remember.
do that with a bass as a melodic instrument. What a chore. This guy did it.
I haven't heard this in a while. I have to listen to this again. The Sun Don't Lie, Marcus Miller.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have to
Pretty
post
old.
our link.
It's like from when? 1993. Yeah, okay.
This album is somewhere up there.
Mhm.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you listen, if you look at the credits, album, he had the whole scene from the East Coast to the West Coast playing on that album. Everyone from Kirk Whalum on tenor saxophone to Poogie Bell on drums. you know who that is, the Prince drummer. Or Philippe Sess, of course, one of my favorite keyboard players.
Yeah.
And on another tune, there's Steve Ferrone and Omar Hakim and Hiram Bullock, of course,
Yeah.
on Alias, on Congas, and it goes on and on Kenny Garrett, Paul Jackson Jr., Maurice White sings. I mean, wow.
I mean, that's the stuff that was really big back then. I think, like, they had the budget to do productions like that. So you can invite basically everybody you wanted to. Oh yeah, I have. Cheers. You can invite anybody you want and make an album. I mean, how's that? And you can take your time.
So
Yeah, it's not like 2 days and or 3 days. So you can take your time and make an album. So that's why this era is such. Yeah.
I guess that album was done over at least a year, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, he had his own studio, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's been working for it constantly for at least a year, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he has developed this sound. Like there's a couple of guys who developed this sound, and you know this is Marcus Miller, or it's some disciple. It's one guy who tries to. He thinks he's Marcus Miller, but he's not. Yeah. So and he's the guy that you like. Yeah, one of the guys who really made the bass also a melodic instrument. And then he got all this bass clarinet stuff happening, right? He started to play bass clarinet and he started to have this other instrument.
He plays a lot of instruments, actually. He's a real multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah.
Of course, with that talent, he plays them all very well. You bet. You bet he does. At some point, I think he wrote that he developed his slap pop style because he wanted to be able to cut through better on broadcast.
Okay.
Early days, because he noticed that the bass is usually too weak on a broadcast recording. It can't be heard. It can be felt maybe, but it can't be really heard. And he wanted to stick out at times, so he thought of a way to do that.
Yeah. But I think he wasn't the first guy to do it, but he was the guy who really like also with the sound, I think, of his instrument, like the Fender bass sound, which is really clear and crisp, so it really sticks out. Like the guys before, it was more muffled, the sound, yeah, but he had really a clear sound that really sticked out, yeah. And when he did his early sessions, he was so young. Like when he played on Wine Light, like how old was he? He was like not even 20 or something, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
Or 21 or something. That was 1980 or something. And he was already an established session player. Like, yeah. Amazing. Yeah, great record. I have to listen to this again.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the right scene. It was a blessing to be in that studio scene at that time because they had all the knowledge. And it was pre-internet, so you couldn't get it outside the studios. You had to know the right guys, and they had to tell you their secrets. That was the only way. And I think that was the way he developed his sound from all those sessions where the engineers told him to get his mids right. Because that's the secret to about any instrumental sound, getting your mids right. You, for example, are a player I know that prefers a lot of mids. You're centered around that, say, 1K region. That's your main frequency where you're focused at. And I like that. And I know exactly why you're doing it because it's always there. It'll always be there. It's exactly the speech frequency or the singing frequency, the voice frequency. That's what the ear will pick up under any circumstances, right? A lot of guitar players have a different sound and they have difficulties because they don't like that region. Like listen to some 80s recordings like Steve Lukather did or so. They cut out a lot of mids, especially at that point, say from 500 to 1500 or so. They had that distinct dip there and preferred a lot of highs, but that might be lost in the mix, right?
Yeah. And it has to do also on stage, so to feel comfortable. Yeah, I didn't really consciously think like that. So it was just natural. Also, the sound of this amp, of course, is. I talked to the amp tech actually when I brought my Fuchs to the amp tech, and he also he played through real dumbles and he knows like all the circuitry, and he also said that instrument, like that amp, unlike most of the others, really brings out what the guitar puts in. Yeah, it doesn't change much of the of the things. It's almost flat.
Mhm.
It doesn't really of course, in the 80s it was hip to do the V equalizer, right? Like it's looked like this, like the Mesa Boogie equalizer always looked like this. So
Mhm.
the mids were scooped and the rest was pushed up. Yeah. So, but this thing is really, yeah, like I can hear myself really well on stage if I play it. Yeah, it really cuts through and it's comfortable to play because you don't have to
Mhm.
push anything. It's not, it's natural
Mhm.
and
Of course, it's not just as easy as dialing in a lot of mids. It's way more complicated to get a good sound than that because if you just do that and you center your sound around a big a bump in the 1K hertz region, you're going to sound noisy as hell, nosy. I mean, right? It's all you can't listen to that. It's just it'll just hurt.
Mm.
So it's about getting that balance right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to make like a real, I think an amp also is like a musical instrument.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if it makes the sound. It's for electric guitar. It's just as important as the guitar. As the amp, it's one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all this together makes the sound.
And it's not the same with every band, of course. It depends on the other players.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
The drums are the first factor because they're
Mm.
there permanently, and the snare sound might take away a lot of mids from the guitar, so you have to center on another frequency to be there. Can't go around the bass drum or the snare drum. It'll be there for the whole evening, so you have to find your hole in the sound.
Exactly.
Talk to a keyboard player. That's what they do all the time.
Of course. Yeah. And this is what, of course, like where this thing comes in. You don't have only one amp with you, or maybe two if I'm really happy, if I really like are in a good mood, I bring two amps to a gig, yeah. But here I have hundreds of amps, so if I feel like this sound is not cutting, I switch. I play a Marshall, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. If I have to, I play a Marshall. I play a whatever, yeah. And that's of course the luxury you have with this technology, even though it's not the same thing. Yeah. Of course, I prefer any day to play my amp. Yeah. But the other stuff also makes a lot of things easier.
Yeah, no.
So yeah.
So what's your album
Oh, yeah.
pick?
Let's see. My pick. Wait, which one is first? You know what? This album is one of my favorites of all time. The New Standard of Herbie Hancock.
Mhm.
When I first heard this, I was really so into it because I like the concept also. New Standards is like he took basic pop and rock songs and improvised over them. He played the melody. That's what they always did.
Mm.
Yeah, they took songs
Yeah.
and
So what do you think about the claim? Are they the new standards? You think? Some
most
of
of them I never ever heard anybody else play. So
them.
it's like, of course, I mean, it's Norwegian wood. Yeah,
Well,
but
that's a standard. You could say so.
it's not a jazz standard.
A lot of jazz recordings have it.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm.
But
Like
I mean, there's Love is Stronger Than Pride on it.
also
I did.
Blackbird from the Beatles is
Oh
also a
yeah, totally.
real jazz classic in the meantime.
That's true. I mean, Brett Meldau did it, and a lot of people did it. That's true. Yeah, but
Yeah.
most of those tunes are not jazz standards. Yeah,
Surely not, and they won't become jazz standards, I think. But
but
it's
that's a deep subject. I think. I mean, around that time, that's late '90s, 90, no 96, mid '90s.
Mhm.
A lot of record companies brought out a lot of original music. There was lots of original music released, and of course, I mean, except maybe Wynton Marsalis or somebody, a lot of people played original music, and there were great records, especially Verve Records. They put out a lot of things. Impulse, yeah, a lot of great stuff was happening, and I bought a lot of CDs with great, like, same thing. Lots of great artists on one album. Just I mean, this one has Herbie Hancock, of course, and it has Mike Brecker and John Scofield. And this was really like the first time I really thought about, man, this electric guitar, this bluesy guitar doubled by saxophone is just the greatest sound ever, I thought at that point. Of course, I bought the same guitar as Scofield at that point. I bought the same amp, of course, and I played with a saxophone player. And we try, like I just love this sound so much, yeah. And yeah, at that time there was lots of original music. This was the only, like, there were not so many records released where they played different music,
Yeah.
like standards. Like, and this one is really, I don't know who else did that except Hancock. He did a couple of albums like this, like he did the Gershwin album, and then he did like the Joni Mitchell, and he didn't he? There was also a Beatles album, right? Imagine or something. How was it?
Really? Beatles
Oh no, that was on the. What was that? There was the No Apologies. Yeah, where he brought in lots of like contemporary artists like John Mayer and
Yeah, he did.
or whatever. Yeah, I don't remember. But this really got me. Yeah, when I heard like the first tune already, New York Minute.
Yeah, I like the
feels-
arrangement of New York Minute. It's much faster than the original, which is on the seminal. What's the name of the album? Don Henley, End of the Innocence, I
Yeah.
think. The End of the
I don't
Innocence
remember the album name.
That
Yeah.
one, yeah. Fantastic album, but and they play the tune much faster, and the whole melody is lined out with a brass section. And I mean that's a brash move, I think, with that melody. Okay, but it works, and
I mean, it's basically two notes, the melodies.
yeah, right. It doesn't lend itself so well to a brass section, actually.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's but I
okay,
think it's
fine.
also it's also the guitar plays it out. Yeah, but I mean the way they play it, it's at that time it was so hip for me. Like that was the way to
is.
go. It was so hip.
To this day, it's hip. I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean Dave Holland and Jack DeJohnette, Don Elias. I mean, what else do you want? And so I enjoy this album. I still enjoy it. I mean, I haven't listened to it for a while actually. I have to admit, but I went through my record, and this is just fantastic, guys.
Ah.
You have to.
Yeah. And of course, I always like these the free flowing rhythm chord structure that's going on there. Herbie Hancock is a master of disguising chords.
Yeah,
You can at times you can hardly tell where he really is because he's mixing them up in such a deft way. So his voicing could be quite anything. It could be chromatic.
yeah.
What the heck is he doing? And he perfectly knows exactly well what he's doing, of course.
I mean, his stuff is so advanced, of course. Yeah. Oh, we have a new viewer, Ralph's. Very nice. Oh, he was already in our talk a while ago. That's nice. Very nice. So, guys, if you have any questions, just let us know. But we keep talking about our favorite CDs this time, yeah. But listen to this: Herbie Hancock, the new standard. Listen
Definitely.
to "Love Is Stronger Than Pride" by
Yeah.
Sade. Like you wouldn't believe what they do. It's just
If you don't know
amazing.
that album, give it a listen. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. So we have a playlist actually. If you look up there in the chat, there's a link to a Spotify playlist where we put on some of the songs that we talked about.
Right. No,
And,
all the songs we've talked about, I put them all in.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
they're
Yeah.
all in.
And so we keep adding.
Except for our own stuff for our new album, which isn't released yet. So
Right.
you guys have to wait a little.
Yeah, but we're practicing,
We're practicing.
and I'm writing actually.
You know,
The funny thing is, I
right.
tried to write an intro for late summer for one of the tunes because I thought it was like
It doesn't need an intro. It has an intro. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba.
Yeah.
Da,
So,
da, da,
of
da.
course, what happened is I wrote a completely new tune. I kept writing, and I'm
out of
like,
the fake intro. That's a
I'm like,
great
damn
idea.
it, this
That's a
is another tune. This is not the intro to this
Actually,
song.
that's a great idea. Take take a song that you really dig from somebody else, of course, write an intro, and write a song based on that. Perfect.
For me, it worked. Yeah, because yesterday I was sitting there and I wrote another section. I'm like, yeah, this can go there, and then I'm like, man, I have a tune already, but it doesn't have anything to do with the other tune. So I just leave it, and I think it's
Never mind, it's all yours.
yeah, right. So that
Right.
was funny. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's your next one?
My next pick. Look at that. Can you see that?
Oh yes,
You know that one, right? Of course, yeah.
I'm such a fan. Dave Grusin is just such a great guy.
Dave Grusin. I mean, he made a stellar career. This guy, in the '60s, I think he played with everybody who was important at that time, from Sarah Vaughan to Anita O'Day, and I don't know. He was a he was famous for being a sideman, that alone, and then he switched to arranger and made a real career in arranging. And from that, he made a real career in composing and producing. And at the end, he had his own label, like GRP, like one what 80 early '80s something. He started that label.
I guess so. Yeah.
For a while, it was the main label for well, what we call smooth jazz today, right?
Contemporary fusion, whatever they called it.
And
But it was
all the film work the guy did. I mean, one of his most important partners, I think, was Sidney Pollack. He must have scored like 10 movies or so with Sidney Pollack. And
yeah,
of
he did.
course, he scored two of my favorite movies of all time. Hey,
Yeah.
for that alone, I gotta give him huge credits.
Which
And
one?
for me, as a piano player, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Fabulous Baker Boys.
Oh yes.
And that sums it up in a nutshell.
It's
What it's like to be a piano player. Isn't that a great movie?
I bought the DVD just 2 months ago because I was like, man, I have to see this again. I had it on videotape somewhere, but of course it doesn't work anymore. I
If
bought it again
only,
because I saw this probably 20 times.
yeah, if only for the casting scene of the girls, the singers. Only that scene, I mean,
Feelings.
brilliant. So brilliant.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
And
really.
Jeff Bridges and Bo Bridges, it's really such a great movie. And the soundtrack is also great. Yeah, I bought the soundtrack right after I
Stick
saw the
Hyman
movie.
and him. Stick Hyman and him on two pianos.
Yeah,
How great is that? How many opportunities in a lifetime can you get to do such a soundtrack,
oh yeah.
right? And the next one that's totally amazing is The Firm, which is all piano, all based on piano and piano overdubs. Well, some of it is overdubbed, like the title of The Firm. That one's ba-bum, 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 and all the pianos over that. That's overdubbed, but some other stuff isn't. It's just a solo piano.
Great,
Again,
great stuff.
it's a movie about a mafia law firm, and the soundtrack only consists of piano. Fantastic.
You have to be pretty brave to do that.
Really?
Yeah. And he did Tootsie.
Yeah. Okay, that's totally different. That's
Yeah, it's totally it's really
score
smooth
writing.
and pop, but I can listen to that. I can listen to the theme. There's one album where it's like his favorite movie themes or so. I don't remember. I have a vinyl album where it's called An Actor's Theme or something. Yeah, it's such a beautiful piece of music. It's my ring. It's the ringtone when my wife calls me. Stay
Very good.
Actor's wife. It's beautiful. Yeah.
My wife has Chaka Khan. Ain't that peculiar? This thing. Well, anyway, my favorite track on that is Fascinating Rhythm. It's a Gershwin album. Fascinating Rhythm. And what he did was he arranged the whole Fascinating Rhythm, which is a tricky rhythm in itself, even in the original form. He arranged it in 7. And that makes it really makes it stand out. And it has Gary Burton on vibraphone, John Patitucci,
Mm.
and Wickel. That's all you need.
Who else you gonna get to do that?
There's also a wonderful duo on that album with Chick Corea.
Oh,
It's wonderful.
mm. Yeah.
So
What
yeah,
a great guy. It's a beautiful album, really.
one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. There's one he did also where he did Henry Mancini's music.
Yeah, that's the next one. That was the follow-up. And maybe, yeah, I'm not really. I'm undecided. Which one's better?
Yeah, I think that the Henry Mancini one is a little more smooth, but what I really like they did
Not really.
he did
Not really.
yeah.
Not really. I mean, it has. I think actually think that is the smoother one. The Mancini album has. Well, it starts out with what's the name of that tune?
Yeah, Elephant.
Elephant Walk, Baby Elephant Walk, right? And he does that with a real big band, brass sound, and the harmonica thing over it.
Yeah.
It's much more in your face than that.
And he does a great version of Days of Wine and Roses in 3. Which is so cool. Yeah. I really like to play this. Sometimes if there's a chance to play standards, I ask the guys, let's play Days of Wine and Roses in 3 because it's such a great flow somehow. It's really cool. Yeah.
Actually, that's one of the great things about those standards in general, that they will always work no matter what you do with them. You can throw any arrangement idea at them right in their face and they're going to sound great. If the idea is worth the salt, of course.
The great thing is, one time I was in Ingolstadt at the Jazz Tage to see Dave Grusin play with Lee Ritenour. And after that, it was 3 bands in a row. After that it was Tower of Power in the same room, and Dave Grusin was hanging out, yeah, and he's quite small, and he passed us by. Like I was there with my wife, and we're both huge fans of Dave Grusin, and so he passed, and we always said, oh, should we talk to him? But we didn't. But
Which is a pity because I think he's a quite relaxed and friendly guy, right?
I'm sure, yeah. But we were like too shy to talk to him. But it was really cool. He was like walking around, yeah, checking out stuff. It was,
Yeah, he seems even humble to me.
yeah, I think so.
Like just a perfect musician.
Yeah.
Uh,
And actually, no, you know what? One time I actually asked him a question. That's right. There was one of the first live streams when I was in school in Berkeley. There was a record coming out. It's called The Hang. It's Don Grusin's record, I think. I don't remember. Dave Grusin, yeah. And they did like a question and answer session with Berkeley students there. And I asked them, how long did they rehearse for that recording session? And he was just laughing and he said, we don't rehearse.
There's no rehearsal.
Everybody's busy to just come and play, yeah. So
Sure.
they just played that stuff. There was no rehearsal. You know, when I was really I was a student, and I was thinking, you know, you have to rehearse and you plan all this stuff out, and those guys were like, oh, we don't rehearse.
Sometimes rehearsals are overrated.
But that was a funny thing that I just remember this. It's been a while, but yeah, what a fantastic guy. Yeah. Okay, should I pick another one?
Sure. Your turn.
Let's go with the other piano player.
The other.
He had a similar career, even though maybe not as big. But Bob James and Foreplay.
Oh, Bob James. Of course. Yeah, and Foreplay.
I really like this album. I mean, there's a couple of albums. Of course, Larry Carlton has to be on them. That's my favorite version of Foreplay, is where Larry Carlton plays, because he's got that earthy kind of sound.
I like it with Lee Ritenour a lot. I liked it a lot. Lee Ritenour is a little more an extroverted guy, extroverted personality, and He brought a little bit of that spirit into that band. I think it was good for them.
Yeah, but I like the more bluesy kind of sound that Larry Carlton has. Yeah,
For the sound of it, yeah.
yeah, I totally dig Lee Ritenour, but
Mhm.
I'm not a huge. I said that before. I'm not a huge fan of when he plays electric, like distorted sounds. I think I don't. I just don't like the sound too much. I like his stuff when he plays nylon string and when he plays jazz guitar. Yeah,
Mhm.
clean stuff. It's great, but sometimes I'm like, eh, it's just a matter of taste. Of course, he's a
Of
fantastic
course, yeah.
player.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so it's like I like to listen to the Lee Ritenour four-play albums, of course, too.
Yeah.
But my favorites are the ones where Larry Carlton is on,
Mhm.
and here they really have. I heard they made all this stuff up in the studio.
What do you mean they made it up? They
They just
didn't
met
bring
and
in they
they
didn't bring
fi-
in compositions,
they didn't bring in any compositions.
but ideas maybe or motives or whatever.
Well, maybe it's just a story. I don't know, but that's what they said. Yeah, they made
Okay.
most of the stuff up
Uh-huh.
when they met. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Well, the themes are very convincing, and I guess
oh
they
yeah,
conceived them before.
so it's hard to believe, really.
You can't just come up with such a lot of really good um, themes,
Yeah,
melodies.
I would love to ask one of the guys how this
Maybe
stuff
they
really
made up
came
the
about.
arrangement. Maybe they made up the arrangement of it. What really freaks me out, especially about that record, is the mastering.
Oh yeah, the sound is huge, right?
Sound is unbelievable, and the mastering is so good. I'm not exactly sure what they did with it. It's so the mix is very brave and dynamic, unusual for that period because it's a 2000 and a little bit record, right?
2002, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually it's heartfelt, foreplay
yeah. So
heartfelt. That's what the record is.
it's really from the times of the yeah, not the peak, but almost the peak of the loudness war, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, Nobody at that time did dynamic mixes. Everybody wanted to be loud and loud and loud and louder, and the mastering guys were under pressure to be even louder on the last
Mm,
record. And the mastering on that is so dynamic. It is loud. It is quite loud, but not so loud. It's not overcompressed.
mm,
At the contrary, um, they were brave and let instruments really stick out at times.
mm.
So they're actually much too loud in the mix, but they fit perfectly with the rest. I'm not sure how they did that.
Yeah, I
Try to
always
figure it
like the
out.
sound of the of there's this one and then there's the one it's called X. I think it's the one after this one.
Hmm.
And to me that's
Also,
such a great sound. Such great I mean you can hear everything. It's
yeah.
really clear.
Hmm.
Yeah. Of course the guys play amazing. Yeah. Also the drums are really dynamic. Yeah.
Extremely well recorded to
Yeah.
start with. So,
Mm.
of course.
Great stuff, yeah. And I like that
Yeah.
actually Larry Carlton is thanking Alexander Dumble
Hmm.
on the back.
Right. Hmm.
So that's
I really like the first tune, Galaxia. I
yeah,
think
me
that's the
too.
one they focused on.
Yeah.
And it freaks me out for the playing of the drum playing from Harvey Mason alone, and for the sound of it.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so wow.
And the way I mean there's some electronic sounds
Hmm.
sometimes on
Right.
on the drums, yeah,
Mhm.
and he mixes it so well with the acoustic sound.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's really such a cool sound. And
Try
the
that in your
electronic
head.
sound is not really like you feel like okay, oh wow, they put in a loop or something. It's okay, yeah. It's so well integrated, right? Yeah.
Try that in your headphones. It's really a listening experience.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. What somebody Bit Crusher is the trick to get loud mixes without too much compression.
Yeah,
Have you heard it?
but not for that kind of music, of course.
Oh yeah.
You don't want the slightest bit of distortion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on the recording itself, except for a distorted guitar or a distorted synth sound that was meant to be
Okay.
saturated or distorted. But a bit crusher is certainly not the way to go for that. It's great for electronic records, for example.
What is it actually?
Actually, it reduces the bit count. So if you record it in 24-bit, your original sound was recorded in 24-bit, you can reduce it down to, say, an 8-bit recording or even a 4-bit or 2-bit recording.
Okay.
It really shaves off a lot of detail, and of course, it produces some distortion that can be quite pleasant.
Okay.
It can make a boring sound really stick out.
Mm-hmm.
I use it on synths mainly
Okay.
and on loops sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yeah. Interesting.
You'll
Yeah,
find
that
one in
stuff
your
is.
Logic, actually. There's a good bit crusher in your Logic.
Oh, really?
It's one of the best out there.
Wow. I haven't.
Try it. Check it out.
Mm. Cool.
Play a crappy guitar, a crappy guitar sound. Do that. Play a
Uh,
crappy guitar sound, and
uh,
treat it with a bit crusher. You'll be amazed.
Interesting. Uh, yeah. Anyway, this is such a great sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Check it out. Foreplay, heartfelt, great thing. Yeah. Uh, oh, he
And you
says, give
pick.
it a try, Oliver. Don't go too low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
I will check it out.
Mhm, mhm.
Interesting. I'm not into. I can't do any mixing or stuff. I have no idea about that. I can record guitars, but I'm not into mixing that much. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Which
all right.
brings
What's your
me,
next one?
yeah, which brings me to my third album.
Oh, Bob Burke, but I don't know this one.
Short stories.
I haven't heard it.
Think it was Grammy nominated. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's produced by Don Grolnick, and
What year is that?
yeah, I picked it mainly for that wonderful tune that everyone knows. Friday Night at the Cadillac Club.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, it's Don Grolnick and it's Peter Erskine on drums
Mm.
and Will Lee on bass and Mike Stern on guitar. Yeah,
Well, what can you say?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, great. What a yeah. Bob Burke. Yeah, unfortunately, he left us so soon, right?
Yeah, too soon. Hmm.
He died in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think of something like what was it? A plane accident, car accident,
I
whatever.
think a car accident. Yeah, what
Yeah.
a pity.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a couple of. I don't know this album actually. I have to check it out.
Mm.
Yeah,
His years with Miles Davis were great.
mm.
He was
Like
great on
early
guitar.
80s or mid 80s. Yeah, I think he was after Bill Evans, right?
Yes.
Mm. I
Yeah, I
have a
mean,
couple. Yeah.
I mean, with this guy, you can tell that he's been listening to Coltrane over and over, and that was that strong sound that was what he was after.
I mean, he was one of the main tenor players in the 90s, I would say.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
next to there was Bob Minzer and Michael Brecker
Yeah,
and Bob
he's from that
Malak maybe
generation.
and Bob Burke. Those were the guys. I have a great album with him with Chick Corea. It's called
Yeah,
A
he was
Time Warp.
right. He was with Chick Corea like for what, a few years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have one album
Mm-hmm.
where he plays on. I think it's called Time Warp. Great stuff. Yeah. And I have a couple of his own albums. One where it's kind of almost folky. I have to check this out. It's like mid 90s, 94, 95 or something. And what a sound! Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great. No, definitely you have to check that out. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, my next one is also is the other guy.
The other guy again, Michael Brecker. Michael
Almost like we,
Brecker.
yeah. Of course, Michael Brecker is one of my absolute heroes.
Ah,
Even though there's no way I can come any close to his playing because he's just the absolute master. And I could have picked a lot of albums, of course, but this one is just absolutely mind blowing.
sure. I mean, his sound and his phrasing is unsurpassed to this day. I think he's really intimidating to any tenor player.
Any musician on earth, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Even though I watched like a lot of clinics he did. There's a couple of clinics on YouTube where you can see him and how humble he is. Yeah, And but you know that he really put in so much work to sound like that,
Hmm.
and played everything he could probably. Um, the interesting thing is always he he talks in this one clinic. He talks about that transcribing guitar players was his main, or one of the main things he did to get an original sound. And this, I guess, is yeah a great lesson that if you're sick with playing like somebody else, just listen to a different instrument and check out what they're doing, and you're gonna sound completely different.
Hmm.
But he developed a sound, and this album is especially great because it's a large ensemble. Yeah, usually he plays in small groups, but this is
The
um,
quintet.
a
So.
quintet. Yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah, and of course it's all amazing people, and it's and Gil Goldstein did the orchestration. He's a fantastic guy.
Mhm.
He plays accordion also amazing, and he's a great piano player. Yeah.
Does he play accordion as well? Yeah.
Yes.
There is a accordion recording with him, or?
Yes. I just can't think of it right now.
Hmm.
I'll let you know when I think of it. But just came to my mind. He plays accordion,
And who
and of
produced the
course
album?
he also has a amazing book, The Jazz Composer's Companion, where he wrote like all kinds of tips for composers.
For composers.
It's a fantastic book.
I have to get that.
Fantastic. The Jazz Composer's Companion. And there's a lot of interviews in it by all kinds of people.
Hmm.
And very nice. And he's a fantastic arranger, like the stuff here. And yeah, there's lots of great things to say about this recording, but it was the first time I heard Adam Rogers play guitar. You know Adam Rogers?
No, well, from that recording maybe.
Yeah.
Because
He's just a ridiculous guitar player.
hmm.
He's he blew my mind in the like. That was when I started to go to school, 2002,
Hmm.
and he kind of was already on the scene, but he put out some solo albums after that on Crisscross Records. That was like a jazz label at that time, and wow, is he a player? He has monster technique, amazing. Yeah, it's just mind blowing.
So did
Yeah.
he make some solo career then? Did he?
Well, he's a like a well-established jazz player in the New York scene.
Hmm. As a leader as well, or what?
Yes,
Yeah.
he put out a couple of solo albums. The first one is called "The Art of the Invisible."
Hmm.
I got it somewhere, and it's if you have a chance, check it out. His stuff, like he did a couple of albums where he plays standards, but he's like a real modern jazz player and a sideman. Like he plays in Chris Potter's band, for example.
Ah, if he's not
And
playing trio,
sorry.
if he's not playing trio, Chris Potter, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is a trio actually.
It's
It's
a trio.
it's actually Fender Rhodes, guitar and saxophone.
Oh, okay.
I saw them in the Unterfahrt
Oh,
years ago.
oh, that's a great blending, of course. If you're not after the rhythm energy so much.
Maybe there was even drums. I don't remember right now. There was no bass. I can remember. Yeah? There was no bass player. Like so. Yeah. Yeah. That's an album it's just arrangement wise.
Hmm.
Is just mind blowing. Like the arrangements alone, with the orchestration of all like the flutes and the clarinet, bass clarinet, oboe, yeah, violins. There's strings on it, yeah. So Antonio Sanchez on drums, John Patitucci on bass, yeah, and no piano player. Only only
Mm.
yeah, large section, yeah. Great guitar, so check it out.
Enough. Sure.
Yeah, wide angles.
Yeah. Okay. Who produced the album?
Um, Michael Brecker and Gil Goldstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's all composed by Michael Brecker except one is also co-written by George Whitty. He was the keyboard player for the Brecker Brothers
Yeah.
for a while, right? Yeah. And one Don Gronick piece is also on there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the lesser known albums of Michael Brecker and those guys that didn't make it into the magazines so much.
Yeah, I mean that's the time I think like that was 2002 I think also. It was the time when just albums went down. Yeah. It was the big time of Napster and file sharing and
Right.
nobody bought CDs anymore.
Yeah, right.
So this is only 6 years later than this one, yeah.
Hmm.
But everybody knows this. But at that point,
Yeah.
maybe people just started like the record companies just went down.
Yep.
And in the mid 2000s, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many CDs I bought. Yeah, when
Actually, it's a sheer wonder that CDs have still survived, and we're still selling CDs and listening to CDs in those in these streaming times and music for free times.
yeah,
But for some reason, we still want to take home what we heard in a club concert.
absolutely. And I enjoy, in my living room, I don't have Spotify set up. There's a CD player
Mm.
and my record player.
And you're
Because I
right.
enjoy listening, because I just quit Spotify except in the car, because I want to hear that album.
Hmm.
And I put it in like auto repeat because I really want to hear that. And I want to hear it again because it's a great album, and I want to hear like the order of the songs. I
Right.
don't put shuffle or play or something. I just hear the album, and that's something. Yeah,
For me, it's primarily a database, Spotify.
yeah, yeah,
I use it to search for certain music. If I'm in need for music for whatever purpose, I use it as a
exactly.
database, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think it's just not smart enough right now. Because I was listening to Spotify a lot, and I was at the beginning I was like, this is just perfect, This I search for stuff and I listen to stuff, and he's gonna learn what I like.
Mm.
Yeah. And Spotify gonna suggest me stuff that I haven't heard yet, because I'm always looking for stuff that I haven't heard, which blows my mind. That's my goal every day to find stuff where I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing, I haven't heard this. Yeah. But it's never happened.
Yeah,
Almost
that's
never.
because of the algorithms. That's because of the algorithms. Because for some reason, the Spotify algorithms always draw you away from the good music and towards the most popular music, or
Exactly.
whatever music. I don't get it, but it's really hard even to find tunes by their name or artists by their name. Sometimes you get a gazillion of other names and other artists and other songs before you get the one you were actually looking for in the list.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something that really depresses me a little bit
Yeah.
about Spotify, because it's really, yeah,
Yeah, and the other thing that really puts me out is the guy behind it. I have to say that um, I don't want to be negative about other people, but he said some things that were really appalling to me. I have to
yeah.
admit that, and
I
so I
haven't
feel
heard it
bad
actually.
every time I open up Spotify. Like musicians are just lazy, and they should put out much more stuff, which means feeding his platform for free, for
Of
nothing.
course.
Then
Of
they'd
course.
have more clicks and more revenue stream. That says the same guy that pays for a click, for one listening click, $0.0038. You have to get what, $500,000, half a million streams to at least pay your rent or so.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that possible? That can't be it. And that same guy says you have to put out more stuff to feed his platform even more.
Yeah, I tried to learn about Spotify recently, actually. There's some people who are successful on Spotify. So recently I tried to learn how it works actually, because there are some mechanisms you can use, or people
Sure.
at least they
Like
talk
always.
about
Like
using them.
playlists can be great to push
Yeah,
yourself. I mean, not great, but they can help you.
yeah,
Uh, but even Ed Sheeran can't make a living from Spotify.
yeah,
So there's something definitely gone wrong at some point in the process. And more people are doing the grayed out stuff. So they put their album on Spotify and they make like 2 or 3 tracks um, to be
mm,
listened to, and the rest is just grayed out.
yeah, right. Well, we thought about how we're gonna release our next album,
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that
so
some more.
let's think about it. But
Sure.
absolutely, there will be a download on our website where you can
Yes.
buy it, and you have your MP3s, and you can or you have the WAV files. You can,
Sure. And
and of course, at some point
I was also thinking about a small vinyl edition.
that would be not really nice. Yeah,
I think our music really lends itself to vinyl.
yeah, that would be great. I would love to have a vinyl. Yeah.
Sure.
So if anybody's listening, just you can. It would be interesting how you like to listen to music. Like, what are you
Yeah,
listening
would be
to?
right. That's a good question.
Like, how you prefer to listen to music? Are you like, okay, if it's not on Spotify, I'm not going to listen to it? Or would you like to buy a CD? Would you like vinyl? Would you like to download
Right. What are your
music?
primary sources? I'd like to know that. Are you into Amazon or iTunes Music, or what do you guys do?
That would be interesting. Yeah, yeah. But we'll think about some more.
Hmm.
Well, because I mean, the greatest thing would be like we have our website and our stuff is available there, and you can yeah, get it directly there. We will see. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we're gonna put out some videos of our songs. I mean, in the middle of May, our recording is planned. So right now, on Sunday we go rehearse a little bit more, and maybe next time we go and maybe bring another tune, or we bring some more albums. Yeah, as usual, just let us know what you like us to talk about.
Sure. And as I'm always saying, drop us a line if you want us to talk about a specific topic, whatever you'd prefer.
Yeah,
Interesting for us too. Or if you have a question or whatever.
yeah, just let us know. Cool. All right, guys. So
So,
we'll be back next Thursday
yes.
because I don't have any gigs. And I'm free next Thursday.
Yes, so am I. Have a great time till then.
Yes.
And
Take
tune in.
care. See you next week.